Hi everyone, I'm Sangeeta Bhatia. I'm a software engineer and a public health researcher. My journey into public health research has really been quite nonlinear. I used to work as a software engineer and I also did a master's in software engineering, but I always wanted to pursue a career in science. So I did a PhD followed by a postdoc, and since 2017, I've been working as an infectious disease modeler. And it is here that I feel I found my professional home. Of course, when I transitioned to academia, I carried my software engineering skills with me. I care very deeply about disseminating the outputs of my research as robust software that public health community can use. Over the last 7 years, I have worked on a number of software packages. I've listed the most recent two on this slide. Because of my professional background, I have become a champion of good practices at my workplace. I have contributed to capacity training by providing internal training on version control, writing modular code, etc. I have also contributed to the wider research software community. For example, I served as a reviewer for our studio diversity scholarship application, and I'm currently serving as a panel member for reviewing hidden ref applications. For my fellowship, I want to focus on a specific problem in my discipline, which is the lack of data collection infrastructure. Non-pharmaceutical interventions, which I'll call NPIs now, are critical for controlling outbreaks of infectious disease. So think about things like school closure or masking or spraying insecticide, etc. The question is, how can we understand which of these measures work and which don't at controlling an outbreak? To answer this pretty fundamental question, we need granular data on NPIs. So things like what measures have been deployed during an outbreak, how were they enforced, what was their severity, etc. The problem is that there is no systematic way of collecting this data, and this is the gap that's well understood in the field and has been raised in numerous papers. In fact, I have raised it in two of my own papers. The importance of these data can be understood from the number of research projects that were started during COVID to collect precisely this data. There were many of them, but I have listed only a handful on this slide. The problem is that this kind of data collection is really ad hoc, and it's only started when we are in the middle of a public health crisis. Every team will roll up its own database schema, its own data dictionary, so there is little to no interoperability between the different efforts, and they are really not extensible beyond a specific outbreak. As a software engineer, I can see that we need adaptable and flexible software solutions to collect, store these data, and to have them in place before the next outbreak. To bring this about, I propose to organize a workshop that brings together people with varied expertise, so data generators, data consumers, and people with expertise in creating tools for the public health community. To cut down on cost, I propose to organize this workshop at Epidemics 10. This is the largest conference in our field and is attended by almost everyone I would want to invite to this workshop. So the immediate cost would be my own travel and the cost of organizing logistics at the venue. I have worked very closely with the WHO, and I also have a very wide collaborative network. So I'm in a very good position to bring all of these experts in the same room. The objective of the workshop is to gather intelligence to build usable software that meets community needs. I want to have a really wide-ranging discussion at this workshop. So questions like, what kind of data are needed to address policy needs? How can we develop a standardized and flexible data schema so that the data are interoperable? What kind of novel non-relational data storage solutions might we use here? How can we ensure that the data that are collected are findable, accessible, and reusable? What role can LMs play here? And a question that's really close to my heart, how can we collect data from non-English speaking regions, which is the big gap at the moment? The immediate outcome of the workshop would be an academic paper. I also plan to publish workshop deliberations as a blog on SSI and on College's website. But my larger vision is to build a community of practice with the shared goal of strengthening the collection and use of data on NPIs. The objective of this community would be to foster international cooperation, develop robust software tools to facilitate data collection on NPIs, also to encourage the uptake of these tools through training, documentation, and advocacy, and to build a global network to capture local and representative data. If there are any funds left over from organizing the workshop, I would use them to organize a hybrid follow-up meeting. I also plan to apply to the Royal Society to organize a bigger scientific meeting on this theme in the year following the workshop. With one foot in the world of software engineering and one in the world of public health, I'm ideally placed to drive the conversation in this emerging field. An SSI fellowship will enhance my visibility and make me attractive for competitive grants such as the one I mentioned. But most importantly, it will connect me with like-minded peers, and I will benefit from the mentorship in leadership that SSI fellowship provides. I'll also benefit from fellows' experience in building sustainable communities, and it will help me realize my own vision of building this community. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to your feedback.